Welcome back to the Real House Guest of North Hollywood. I am your host, Carson Frey, and I have a very special house guest, Alix.
Hi, my name is Alix. Just the singular, like Cher.
Just
or
Alix.
Yeah. Hi.
Alix is a very fun friend, good friends with producer Ezra.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which I like. The best thing I got from producer Ezra, the podcast and you.
Oh my gosh. No, I was just talking about this the other day. I was like, there are a couple friends that I have that like I'm friends with them, but then like I adopt their girlfriends.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is the best because I'm like, you and I we're becoming tight quickly.
We've been tight.
I know we have. I love it. I'm just like, let me call you. Let me see the cats. Let me talk about astrology. So
I like it. Alix, tell the people what your Bravo experience is.
Oh my gosh. It is by way of my mother. She, growing up, I wasn't really allowed to watch reality TV. So then I was
good parenting.
Yeah. As I got into like college, and now I've watched a lot more, but she would watch the Housewives. And so, Beverly Hills is my favorite.
It's our hometown.
Right. And then also like, I did like some like old Jersey. Old Atlanta was great.
Love old Atlanta.
Old Atlanta is classic. And then, like Potomac has grown on me. And I used to watch like San Diego for a little bit. Not San Diego, oh my God.
Orange County.
In my mind, it's San Diego.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much same thing.
But yeah, no. So I know like more of the classic stuff. But even then, it's always been like a little bit adjacent. I would say that like it's a pretty solid knowledge.
Probably similar to how my roommate feels.
Mm-hmm. Probably. Yeah, me and Britt are probably at the same level.
Same level.
Yeah.
Okay. I love it. And Alix, also tell the people what you do, where they can find you.
Yeah, so I am a screenwriter first and an astrologer second. I've been practicing astrology for 7 years. I will interpret charts and things like that. I have it listed on my socials, especially my TikTok. It's like right there on the page. And then as far as screenwriting goes, I actually have a show that I am currently writing and that I'm gearing up to do a table read for. So you can follow that Instagram at Associates TV. Associates like associate's degree. And
I'm
TV.
sure somewhere on the screen,
yeah,
producer
somewhere
Ezra.
on the screen will do that. Yeah, you can follow it there. We'll be posting who we're looking for the table read. So yeah, I would love that.
For those LA locals. But yeah, great astrologer, great screenwriter,
thank you.
You guys should follow her. But let's just jump into Potomac.
Yes. Let me get my notes.
So guys, I will admit I've like go in and out with Potomac. I loved the first like 4 seasons. Katie roast one of my like all-time like housewives. You don't know her. It's okay. You don't need to know her. Actually, you should.
No, yes. No, I remember.
She's the one that
I know the faces.
Have you
I
heard
struggle
the
with the
TikTok
names.
sound that's like, I don't think you're dumb. I think you're stupid.
Yes. I know.
Like
Katie.
that line
She's
alone.
not on there. That's why.
No.
That's why.
No,
Mm-hmm.
she's not.
Mm-hmm.
So I go in and out with Potomac, but I do feel like it's a great show overall. I know a lot of people love it, so we're going to cover it. So when I don't reference everything from like season 6, just know I haven't seen it. And Alix hasn't seen anything.
Yeah.
Well, you've seen stuff.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like early Potomac, but even then, like
in and out. Okay. So it opens up with Mia like crying and the women comforting her.
Mm-hmm.
Which I love Mia. I really do. And I like felt for her in this moment because I feel like she felt very attacked. I feel like you can't go after someone as a mom.
No.
I feel like
we see this routinely on the show, every iteration of the Housewives.
And it's
they always do
always
that.
the one thing you shouldn't do. Because it really, like, how do you separate yourself, like, on camera from, like, what's going on? And you really can't when your kids are involved,
right.
you know? Then Gizelle invites Wendy to come work on their relationship.
Oh, I did want to comment from, like, when they were at what did they call the hat thing?
what was it? It was a hat.
I didn't write in my notes, but I liked it. It was informed. Like all those styles were cool.
That they gave, because in the first episode they gave everyone like a certain like hat, you know.
Yeah.
Ashley got which I love Ashley Darby. She got the cowgirl hat.
Okay. Yeah.
But
yeah.
and then it starts off with like Wendy getting the bucket hat.
Yeah.
Which that was fun shade. I do admit
that was tasteful
like,
shade.
I like that level of
that's
shade.
Not mean.
And I'm like, think I need to appreciate that about Potomac, because sometimes like Jersey gets like too dark. You know, there's another shade moment in a different show that I liked. But with Gizelle, for me, and I've known this, Gizelle and Karen are we allowed to curse? Oh, please.
Okay. Giselle and Karen are the resident shit starters all the time. I mean, I'm literally only starting with that episode, so obviously I gathered that the implication is that, you know, this is the part 2 to that lunch. But yeah, they're like the resident shit starters, because that's how I saw the show. Like, Giselle's making that comment about whether or not she's able to protect her children or something like that. And it's like, if you don't agree with whatever me is doing, you need to have that conversation off camera. Or better yet, have some decorum and not do that in front of everyone. That's really rude.
It's so rude.
It's really rude. Like, and you don't have to agree, fine. But, like, don't start antagonizing her in front of people.
And Mia's not weak. You know, she's not like a fragile
We've
person.
known this about Mia. Like, she'll say something. So that's why I'm
stuff.
like, and she'll like defend, even if she's wrong, she'll like defend things. So it's like,
that's why I think she's such a good housewife. Yeah. Like, she's so.
And you could tell it hurt her, because she's not the type to back down if she feels offended.
I do think she came back, took it like a champ.
She did.
And then I love how the next scene was her with her kids.
Yeah.
I was like, bravo, did her right by that.
Bravo.
Fucking bravo.
Wendy's rap was silly. But yeah,
that's Wendy though.
Yeah, just
that is Wendy.
Silly.
So then we see Wendy and Gizelle having lunch.
That was messy.
It was very.
That was messy. And then for Wendy to act like she doesn't get why people don't like her condescending tone.
Oh my god.
I'm like, okay. And then for her to be like, it's different. I'm like, Wendy. Stop.
I'm not past the whole degrees thing. That's what I like can't with Wendy.
Yeah.
Like. Yeah. I don't know. It's just like, in the housewives world, how valued is education?
I mean, you know, you're right. I feel like I think there was one point, she's really changed since being on the show. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I mean, we start from here very much like everything she was saying about like the traditional like Nigerian child with education, like she's right. She was on point with that. And then I blink, right? Because I haven't seen the show in a minute. And now she's here.
Full
behaving
housewife.
In this way, and I'm like, wow, it's like Stepford Wives.
The lunch kind of felt like a really bitchy HR meeting to me,
dude. Okay, one thing about that I didn't really like, and I don't know, I'm not trying to like come for anyone in terms of like class and stuff like that, but I feel as though both of them, it was very like it was like a really coveted like boob measuring contest, I guess, between the two of them and how they were ordering. I was like, does anyone even like what they just ordered? You know, it felt so much like, let me just say this.
Policing how she was eating the oysters.
Right. And that's exactly why I thought. I was like,
who cares?
Babe, it's going in the mouth.
It's going in the mouth. Who cares if you shoot it? Like, whatever.
You're literally being filmed in a restaurant. I'm sorry. So let me just be so real with you. Anytime they go to a restaurant, I know that's hell for the workers. Yeah. I know it's probably annoying for the guests that are there. And also, hate to say it, I think that filming at a restaurant, a reality TV show at a restaurant, is tacky. So like, I don't understand why we're even starting with like, no, honestly, like why we're gonna act like we
hot takes.
Like,
I love it.
So let's not act like
Alix
we're better
is
than
like
anything.
Andy Cohen. I don't want to see the drink orders anymore, because you know how they always show the drink orders.
Like, we get it. You went to a restaurant to eat and drink. Like, just bring the food out when it happens. I find it funnier, though, when, like, they eat and, like, the way that they cut the show. I'm like, did they eat?
No.
Right.
The only show they really eat on, I know for sure, is New Jersey. Because those girls will be at dinner and they'll be like, fuck you, you fucking come, blah, blah, blah. Let me get a steak. Let me get some meatballs. I'll get that pasta. And you really
listen,
see
you need to be nourished for all of that, like, going back and forth.
Italians, you know, they're going to eat.
I love that, though.
Atlanta, they used to eat.
They don't really eat.
Not anymore. But back in the day, you could see, like, Candy actually eating.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because Candy was always hungry.
I don't blame her. They seem like long days, you know? We see, like, just a compiled, like, moment, but they're probably long shooting days.
Oh yeah. And I feel like the lunches, I've heard they film them try to like weird hours, so it's not really mealtime. Like at 4 p.m. they'll have the dinner scenes. You know, to help out the restaurant.
Yeah.
Gizelle says she sees the potential for friendship with Wendy, but Wendy is not sure. They're not going to be friends.
They're not. I mean, they can lie to themselves if they want.
But Gizelle, without Robin on the show, I think needs a friend.
Yeah.
And
because she keeps in the whole thing with her and Karen later.
I know.
Mean, that's not going to work out.
No. They're frenemies for life. But yeah, and I think she should really, really lean into like one of the new girls. Like, I don't know with Wendy.
Yeah.
And then Gizelle once again makes fun of Ink's height, which I kind of love the Ink jokes.
Oh,
because he always stands in front.
Yes, when that explanation happened, I said, "Well, she clocked it." I can't even lie. He is always stepping forward.
No, literally.
And then she was like, "They don't see eye to eye." I said, "That is good shade. That's funny shade."
Then we see Miss Stacey at home. She's a new housewife.
I was gonna say I made a note about her.
New.
Yeah, I said she's new, and I like her involvement with her child.
And I like making the arepas because it's like at first I was like, "Oh, are they Colombian? Like that's cool." And I was like, "No, they're not. She's just exposing her to other cultures. Like that's great.
Yep.
Teaching her multiple languages.
Love that.
Me too.
It felt relatable also.
Her daughter's so adorable. Arabella, right?
Yes.
I like that name.
Yeah.
It feels
I
like
think of Arctic monkeys.
I think of like a Disney princess.
Okay.
So her and her ex are separated.
Yeah, that's an interesting situation.
He's living in the house. He's probably sleeping with other people. She is not sleeping with anyone, but she has a new man. And their daughter doesn't know they're separated.
Yeah.
What's your opinion?
Hearing how she wanted to go about it in terms of the timing in which who's in the main home and not, I think is responsible. I feel like it's as responsible as it can be as far as their approach with their daughter while they're sorting everything out. I do love how hands-on she is with her daughter.
I do
it
too.
Sounds like her husband is too.
Yeah.
Obviously, we're not seeing him. He also had like the face blurred.
Yeah.
Oops, sorry, I didn't mean to touch the mic. So I think that they're being as responsible as possible for the sake of their child, which I appreciate. Like, my parents are still together, but I've had friends who plenty of their parents are divorced, and some parents they wish got divorced sooner. So I think that this is very mature of them as far as like their interpersonal relationship goes. I mean, yeah, I think it's hard. You know, I don't think she wanted the divorce. I don't know why they're getting divorced. It feels like she still has feelings toward her husband, understandably so. They've built a family together. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if we talk about this guy that much, so I'm just going off of that episode. But
there wasn't much in the first.
Okay,
it was just like I'm separated. He's German. Like that's. I do think. Okay, so I understand not telling the kids when they're like little, like toddlers or like under 5. Her daughter's 8.
Yeah, I think they're gonna. I feel like they're wrapping it up soon.
Her daughter probably knows more. Her, you know,
she's probably like, you get 2 different.
Because I was around like 6 or 7 when my parents divorced or like split up. I can't. I don't know when it legally happened, but I was a little bit younger than her, and it wasn't a secret.
Okay.
Because I think kids feel vibes, and
yes,
my mom was just
100%.
The way my mom said was like, you know how like I haven't been that happy, and I'm like, yeah, you haven't been happy, Mom. And she was like, I decided Dad's going to get his own place, and I'm going to live here, and you'll see him, you'll see me, but everyone's going to be a lot happier. And I was like, so not as a kid, I think you're just like, you have to frame it with that. Like, oh my God, it's not, something's not being taken away, something's being given to you. You know?
Okay.
Because I do think like you can, like, I remember my mom said once when I was around 6 or 7, I was like, why do you and Dad not kiss? You know? Kids see that shit.
Yeah,
they're
100%.
like, why do other parents like always smile when they're around each other, but you guys scream?
Right. No, right. Because kids are observant. They're curious. They are going to make comparisons.
But also, it's like Stacey knows her kid best. So who am I to say, like, do this, do that? Because, like, maybe her daughter has no idea.
I feel like they're getting ready to tell her soon from the way that they're moving. So,
I mean, they're both dating other people, too. So, like, that kind of starts another conversation. Okay. And then we see Karen and Kay hang out, and she's mad Gizelle didn't invite her to her party, which it's just like, it feels like Karen's looking for something to fight about.
Well, yeah, I mean, she freaking set up that entire event after literally meeting with Gizelle. Like,
That was so mean.
And then day of, ladies, there's 2 events happening at the same time.
So mean.
I'm like, Karen, we're too grown for this kind of behavior. And then Gizelle being like, everyone just go to Karen's, which I'm like, okay, I guess that's the decision you make at that point in your life. I don't know what I would have said, to be fair. So maybe that was the better option, I guess.
I would have committed to what I committed to.
No, right. This is definitely like on the guests. If you RSVP'd first to Gizelle's, you should have gone to Gizelle's. Like, that was my confusion. I was like, why did everyone drop everything to go to Karen's? And then Karen like found so much validation in that. She goes, clearly I'm the nicer one. Da, 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 da. Everyone's coming to mine. I'm like, that's really messed up. Like, Gizelle's doing this for her dad.
It was really messed up. And like, we'll talk about Stacey and Ashley's conversation, but on that, like, with the whole, like, just, it really, really broke my heart for Gizelle, because it's like, we don't see the soft side of her.
No.
And I think it was an opportunity for us too. And I feel like that was intentional on Karen. That was like a strategy.
The shade that... I want to quote it correctly. The shade that Gizelle threw in the confessional. She goes, what's she being honored for? Driving into a tree? I was like...
No, really, though.
I mean, when they started flashing all
the charges,
of, like, her charges, I said, oh my God.
But really,
but actually, not even, like, genuine curiosity. What was she being honored for? I still don't even understand in the episode.
Her philanthropy in the community. Sounds like a made-up award to me.
Because what is what is the philanthropy in question, and what is the community of Potomac? Because she was saying, like, my community, and I'm like, okay,
yeah. Potomac.
And then she's like, if Beyonce can have a driver, I can have a driver.
Girl, you should have a driver so you don't get a DUI.
I mean, like,
like, who does that?
Sure.
But okay, so jumping back to the
Stacey and Ashley.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So that conversation was really interesting to me, of like them talking about just like, you know, Ashley's biracial, but she identifies as a Black woman. And then the conversation of like, how do your children identify? How do you get your children to identify? I thought that was like very Potomac, very specific too. Because I feel like Potomac, it's a lot of about like, not just race, but all the dynamics within that specific area.
I was going to say, I really liked originally like that Ashley chose to be empathetic, because I was like, Ashley, doesn't this sound a little familiar?
Yeah.
But then I loved that even Potomac, or like that Bravo was showing this kind of conversation, especially as someone who's like seen Bravo over the years. I mean, the diversity alone in like the past, like 5-6 years is really interesting.
Well, they had to wake up, I think.
Yes, yeah. And
as they should, because they were late.
Like, you're really behind.
Yeah.
But I really loved that conversation that Stacey was having, talking about like what she grew up with and how her daughter may not grow up with that. And, you know, that's a real conversation. I think that's also like partially some level of trepidation some people may have when it comes to marrying someone of a different race.
Yeah.
Is, you know, what culture do they take on? And I always think that it's sometimes a limited point of view to be like, oh, which culture out of the two, or however many. And it's like, you can incorporate all of them. I mean, I come from 2 different cultures.
Yeah.
And I will say, you do assimilate more to one than the other, but like, it's also a conscious effort that I think that I also make to still know both aspects of my culture beyond what I've been exposed to. And so I feel like with this young girl, I don't remember her name, but Stacey's daughter.
Arabella.
Right. Just kidding. Arabella. I mean, I think she's going to grow up with like a huge appreciation for culture. And I think that Stacey has a great opportunity, especially since they're in Potomac, to expose her more to her family. But I loved what Ashley was saying about how she was around more of her mother's side, and how though she was visibly different, you know, lighter, that she was never made to feel different. And I think that that's such a poignant conversation, I think, with Black Americans specifically, when we hear the 1-drop rule. This is like completely my opinion. I really get annoyed when they're like, oh, when other people outside that's just non-Americans, like, oh, we don't have the 1-drop rule, and it always feels like that commentary is supposed to, like, I don't know, be disrespectful to Black Americans and African Americans. Like, we're not the ones that came up with that rule.
Yes.
That rule was imposed on us, And on top of that, I don't know why you guys are failing to see that we're embracing the person who is mixed, because we do know historically one side will not embrace them the way that we would. And so
Yes.
I think that's exactly what Ashley went through.
Yes.
Like,
I just got
she
chills.
was embraced by one side of her family. I don't know what her other side is.
Well, her father abandoned her.
Well, see? And I wonder why. You know what I mean? Like, it's hard to assume that wouldn't be a factor.
Yeah.
And so whenever I hear that one drop will be thrown in our face, I'm like, I think that's really disrespectful, because we're embracing you.
Yeah.
And it was because we want to. Well, let's start there.
Well, and also it's like, how does the world see Ashley?
Right.
You know, we don't say Barack Obama, the first biracial president.
Right.
You
Exactly.
know?
Exactly.
And I think that's what I found too interesting about the conversation with Ashley. She was like, my kids might not look a certain way, but they are, because I am. And it's like, yeah, like, because we are 50% of our parents, and like, that's just not just how we look. That's culture. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I really like Stacey.
I like Stacey too.
I like her newscaster voice.
Yeah, she's a very soothing voice to listen to. I'm like, oh wow, she's great.
Yeah. And I like her openness that she's not having sex, and kind of that story.
I feel like she wants to, though.
Oh, she wants to so bad. She's so
I was
horny.
gathering that she wants to.
She wants to. It's him. I think that's the born again Christian. But I find this topic of like adults being in a relationship and not virgins but not having sex so interesting to me, because it wouldn't be me.
Heard. Yeah, when I saw their photos together, I'm like, oh, they look really happy. That's do. Cute.
And he looks like, in the preview, I'm like, he looks cute. He looks loving, supportive. And maybe too, like, she's going through a divorce. So I love the glow up women get, like, post divorce, when a man is finally like treating them right.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, then we have the party happen.
Yes.
And Gizelle is just so pissed. She's like, no one come.
Yeah. I said that Gizelle is so good at being bossy. The kitchen moment with Karen. And I'm trying to remember specifically what happened there, but yeah.
There was some good shade in the kitchen too. It was good.
It was good.
So Gizelle and Karen, like, they're like these two girls going back. It's like almost like tug of war.
It is.
You know, of like who the top girl is.
Going back to what you were saying about the softness with Gizelle, I was gonna say I think I really enjoyed the storyline. I think I enjoyed seeing her with her kids, like back when I was watching it. You know, I had like a lot of empathy for her. I think that was like a good balance. Not that I was ever like apathetic toward her, but you know, sometimes her behavior is like egregious, so it's hard to like her, but then you realize like it's coming from like very various places. And
hurt, you know, she has a lot of hurt in her.
She does. I mean,
and I think that's, of all these shows, when we look at them, the majority there are some women who don't have children, but the majority of these women are mothers.
They are.
And that's why they can get away with being completely awful, but then have this crazy fan base.
Yeah.
Because they're such good mothers.
They are.
And it's like, but then sometimes, don't you think as like a woman, does it ever make you question, like that idea makes me question, like, oh, will I not be woman enough or liked or loved or accepted if I don't have children?
I mean, yeah, it goes back to like how each society primes women in general, you know?
Yeah, and this could in a way like be priming people, be like, you can be terrible, just have children, and the world,
and it's fine. And it's like, it's not entirely how that works, but sure. Yeah,
we love Bravo. I love Bravo, but I'm critical of it.
Of course, I'm critical of it too.
Okay, so they go back and forth. Ashley says it feels intentional. I agree.
I said the girls that didn't come to the GNA event were wrong for that.
They were wrong, all of them. And yeah, they're in DC. Like, the traffic, you can't. I've never even been to DC, and I know that.
Big old bus for 3 people, it easily could have been a little SUV. Babes, climate change, what's going on?
Come on. And then, Karen wants to be top dog. She kicks them out. And so overall for Potomac, what I'm hoping for this season is I want a lot of Stacey. And I saw in the preview, Ashley's going to come for Karen for her DUI. And I'm kind of excited for that, because
I didn't know that.
I like when Ashley
speaks up. She's good
when she bucks up. You know?
Yeah, because it used to be, wasn't Ashley and Candace. I low key, I do kind of miss Candace.
I miss Candace, and
I do.
Okay, so I don't know if I miss Robin.
Robin was amusing to
She
me.
wasn't giving much, but I like Gizelle having a person, you know? Any other thoughts on Potomac you want to share?
I want to make sure I have her name right. Kay, her
Kay?
full name? Okay. Yeah,
Kay.
Kay, because I don't want to spell it wrong. I'm so sorry. I know the faces. I really struggle with the names. But Kay, I said that her automatically supporting Karen makes sense to me. So I will say that she's not wrong for going to support Karen.
Yes.
I think that's the only person.
But her and Gizelle aren't really friends.
Yeah, that too. So I'm like,
that also makes sense.
She makes sense, 100%. So
but
I will.
Mia, I was like, girl, like, come on.
Right. Also, Mia, didn't Gizelle just? Oh no, Karen. One of them made them cry. They both did. I feel like they both.
It was like both of them going
jumped
for Mia.
on her. So it's like, all right, whatever. I will say this, in my opinion. But, you know, it's Bravo. They got to play it up. I think that Gizelle having called security was over the top.
Over the top.
Over the top. But you need something for the show. But, like, even, like, the screaming of no, like, you were in the middle of a photo. Like, we could have. And then even poor Ashley's like, oh, my God, I'm so sorry. I have to, like, you know, because this is still a professional event. You know what I mean? You easily could have had, like, I would have loved a little catty hallway, like, fight.
Yeah.
Instead of just out there.
And I kind of prefer it when it's not, they're not putting on a show for the people there of, like, playing housewives. You know? Because there was something about the early seasons where they're like, no, I actually can't fight here. Go in the fucking hallway, you fucking bitches. Like, you cannot do it.
To me, I'm like, now I'm locked in.
It's more interesting. It's more real. Because, like, I don't just argue with my friends, like, as willy-nilly.
No,
but
not at all.
I've seen my friends, like, once in a blue moon, it happens. And it's embarrassing.
That's why you got to do it somewhere to the side. Yeah. Decorum.
Oh. Alix, I think we're getting some breaking Bravo news.
Beep, 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 beep. We're interrupting your regularly scheduled recap for this Bravo news.
Oh my God.
Oh
okay.
My God, wow.
Okay. Producer Ezra. Okay. Tamara announced on her podcast this week.
Yeah.
After one therapy session, she has autism.
Oh.
Tamara Judge. Oh. Now, the viewers did come and say, girl, no one can get diagnosed with one therapy session. And then she said, yeah, I actually hadn't even told my kids that or my husband. I just kind of said it on the podcast. I do want to be kind because I love that she's going to therapy.
Okay.
I think that's really great. She said, though, on her podcast, which I think it all came from a place of her just not thinking, which seems to be a common thing for Tamara, that she thinks she has autism because she struggles with empathy, and that's not a real thing. Like, people with autism and on the spectrum are capable of empathy. That's like, I feel like so the internet's coming for Tamara.
I want to take this serious. I don't want to laugh because, like, this is what she believes, you know. But
I know.
This tiny little Virgo.
That's my opinion.
Like, girl, come on. That's also like really messed up to like generalize people with autism in that way. Like, that's why you're autistic, because you struggle with empathy. Maybe you're just a shitty person.
I do think she might be a shitty person. I think she probably has a lot of trauma from her ex-husband, who's awful.
Yeah, that was bad.
And
that was really bad.
I'm so happy she's going to therapy, you know, because they're probably, like, I do imagine she's having a bad season on OC, like a real bad season.
Why is it? But like, she's just not doing well.
Well, she's coming for everyone. She's just being really messy in a way that's just like.
Is it giving what's her face from Bev Hills?
Yeah.
That's what it sounds like.
So it's just like messy. It's not fun. And I'm glad, because I feel like if you're watching yourself have a bad season, you're seeing the world saying you're such a bitch and it's not fun. It's just mean. I'm glad you're going to therapy.
Yeah.
But maybe like don't talk about it publicly, especially before you talk to your children. Right. Can you imagine if your mom publicly was like, I've been diagnosed with this thing, when they had one therapy session? They don't know for sure, because autism diagnosis it's not like a blood test.
No, right. And I'm also like, my next question is, are you seeing a psychiatrist or are you seeing a psychologist? But, I mean, I've definitely been in conversations, like group conversations, and my mom like reveals something, never at that level, that I didn't know about. And I'm like, Mom, like,
stop.
This wasn't public. I didn't know. I'm finding out real time now. I have a million questions. I will monopolize this conversation because I'm confused.
Katie Maloney announced on Tom Schwartz's birthday, so her ex-husband.
Yes.
She has a new man.
On his birthday?
On Tom Schwartz's birthday.
Good for her.
I love that.
Do we like this guy? Do we know anything about him?
So Katie's not saying who he is.
Okay.
other people have outed him. So I'm not going to out him on my platform until Katie says who he is. I think that's my rule. Here. But if you really want to know, you can find it on the internet.
I thought you were about to say it.
No, I'm not going to say, but you can find it really easily on the internet. And I do think she posted him on her grid in a group photo. I will say that.
Okay.
Because that's what she's putting out there. I don't know, though, for sure. Raquel or Rachel, whatever you want to call her, has decided to end her podcast. She has...
From New York?
No.
Oh, apologies.
Do you know Scandival?
Yes.
The other woman, Raquel. Rachel Raquel. She kind of goes by...
Okay.
She started a podcast because she didn't come back after. She started a podcast called Rachel Goes Rogue.
Ooh.
And it was going to be about mental health, but... All good? It was going to be about mental health, but... It kind of turned into her just talking about VPR. And so now that VPR is on pause, somehow the show's ending. Which we all know. Thank God. I tried to listen to it to recap it because it was so bad. And I couldn't even do it. I'm sorry, y'all.
Heard.
Okay. Cynthia Bailey and Crystal, though, are having their own podcast on the Nick Viall network.
Okay.
I'm interested because I love Cynthia.
I was going to say, Cynthia is one of the most gorgeous housewives I've ever seen. That's why I dressed up as her at your party.
You did. I just want to lay on her boobs, cuddle her.
She seems very nurturing,
warm.
Lovely.
I feel like she would maybe run her fingers through my hair and tell me it'll be okay.
I say to hear baby in her little accent. It's okay, baby. Everything is going to be okay. Life is worth living.
I'm interested that her and Crystal are friends, but we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, Crystal, just to be sure. Crystal from Bev Hills?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yep.
What a pairing. Is it when they did that little combination trip? Were they on that together?
Nope.
Interesting.
Nope. I do think Cynthia lives in L.A. because she's out here a lot.
Okay.
I think she has a place in Atlanta. I still think she has Bailey.
Yeah.
And because she's a friend of, I think, the season on Atlanta that's about to come out later this year, early next year. But her daughter lives out here.
Oh.
I've seen her daughter multiple times.
Okay.
So cute. I
didn't
love
know
her.
That. Good to know.
Yeah. Or she at least used to work here. So Project Runway got picked up by Freeform after Bravo hasn't picked it up, I think, in almost 2 years. So it's just kind of been sitting. So it got picked up by Freeform. So yay. And then so Andy Cohen denied Jennifer Aydin's claim that she is coming back. Jennifer Aydin said on Instagram or something that she is definitely coming back to New Jersey. And now she was like, they're not coming back. Andy Cohen went on his radio show to say, no decisions have been made. And he wishes her very well. Now, that probably killed
oh my God. No,
any chance she had it coming back.
Yeah. Isn't she from... No, I'm confusing her.
Jersey.
She's from Jersey, but I want to say, isn't she also from Nevada? But that was the older...
You're thinking of Jacqueline.
Yes.
Who
but they remind me of each other.
Her.
They remind me of each other.
Yeah, no.
Even personality.
Yeah. I prefer...
Jennifer.
No,
you prefer...
what's her name?
Jacqueline. Okay.
I prefer because Jacqueline can be reasoned with at a certain point.
Yes, that's true. That's true.
Because but yeah. Okay. Andy Cohen denied. Oh, I have a cute little story to tell you. A cute little Bravo story. Okay. So my friend Thea, she wrote this amazing book that everyone should buy, and I'll plug it again at the end of the episode. Okay. It's the Unofficial VPR trivia book.
Oh, that's actually really fun.
Yeah, and I got to go to the book release party at SUR this week.
She made this book.
She wrote this book, yeah.
Andy has to have it on his show.
He should definitely have her on Watch What Happens Live.
Yes.
She should be a bartender or even just a guest. She is the nicest person. Her Instagram is Your Moms Are Watching, the funniest Bravo meme page. Obsessed with her. She's also just an extremely kind person. Aww. It was our first time meeting in person. Warm. She gave me a big hug. Aww. She introduced me to a lot of people. There were some housewives there.
Wow.
I saw Taylor Armstrong.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Got to meet her. Just a quick hi. I met Kristen from New York. She was on one season. But she was really nice. There were Heather McDonald, who has the Juicy Scoop podcast, was there. I met her. And just other the Daily Mail people, lots of different influencers. It was just so fun. And it was at Sir,
And you love Sir.
I love Sir.
You do.
I do. I did meet Tom Sandoval. I've met Tom before at his bar. I met him again and his girlfriend, Victoria. I have to publicly apologize for anything I said. Like, last time I saw Victoria, I was like, said on the podcast, like, oh, I don't know if she has the great vibes. Meeting her at this party, she has the best vibes.
Wonderful vibes.
Actually, really kind person, very warm. I talked to her friend for a while, and I went to Shorts and Sandy's after. Saw him again. So nice. But I realized Victoria just has anxiety like me.
That'll do it. I mean, that's what I've come to learn over time is that people are like, listen, like, I'm not standoffish. I'm not mean. I'm just shy. I'm just anxious.
And what is shy? Yeah,
right.
it's anxious.
And I feel like with the way that we've been conditioned to see a certain emotion, we become very like stringent and black and white about it and not trying to
especially when someone's public, we think like, oh, they're comfortable with this.
Which is like, not true. We hear all the time that there are plenty of celebrities and performers who are like, they put something on for a camera, but after that, like, they're like, no, I need to like, it's a lot of buildup. She
was really warm and kind and sweet, and I like low-key hope we see her on VPR next season. I hope they bring back. Yeah, and like, I'm not
They have a catchy theme song. That's all I can really contribute.
Short glasses. Yeah, it's so good. Not as catchy as my theme song.
No, not by a long shot.
If you guys go through my theme song, though, there is a VPR reference layered under there. It's not about the pasta. But yeah, I just want to say I think Victoria's a really sweet person. I hope we see her on VPR. And I want to shout out Thea. Everyone buy her book. It's so good.
Yes.
And yeah.
Love that.
Let's talk Frony though.
Oh yes.
Okay.
I'm really excited for this one. Okay. I broke it down.
Let's
by,
talk. Let's talk.
Aaron's house, dinner, and bickering. That's how I have my categories.
I mean, that's really what it was. Welcome to NoHo, y'all.
Yeah.
They are racing down my tiny little street. Okay.
Can I just say,
yes,
before we get into it, this is like my most objective thought, but arguably subjective. Jenna is still lovely on the eyes. Every time I see Jenna, I'm just like, exactly, energetically. And then like,
mommy,
she's pretty. Like,
mommy.
No, truly, mommy. I'm like, wow, just.
She's not Jenna. Mother, she's mommy.
To you. Yeah.
So it opens with Uba and Sai driving to the Hamptons, and they're arguing about the temperature, and it just felt like one of them's going through menopause and the other one isn't.
But I found that Sai is dramatic, but she also makes me think of like this is the only way they're completely different. The only way she reminds me of my mom. My mom will react to what I'm wearing, how she's feeling. And so I was like, we just got to grow up. Like, you're not even wearing the same thing. She was like, you're just making me hot. And I'm like, don't look at her. Look at the road. Like,
I love it. Uba tells Sai that Oliver wants her to move in.
Yeah. And
she gets a little scared. But I'm like, girl, she has this man that just like wants to love her and take care of her and just is obsessed with her. And I'm like, Uba, come on.
I think she just wants to say it out loud. I definitely think she loves that. I mean, who wouldn't love that if it's mutual? You know what I mean?
The art room he made her, I was like, that's
very
so
thoughtful.
sweet. I was like, I want producer Ezra to build me an art room. I guess he started a podcast for me, so
this
is kind of the art room.
This is the art room.
These mics. Okay, so then we get to the Hamptons, and Erin was so scared of being accused of not having food that she definitely overcompensated, because last year when they went to the Hamptons, all she had was caviar on Pringles.
Yeah, I was going to say, funny enough, that the last time I stopped watching The Housewives was, I believe, that episode. That's the same lingerie episode, right? That was the last time I watched it. So then that I'm watching it again and we're back at the Hamptons. I'm like, wow.
As like someone from LA, like the Hamptons seems so like I want to go so bad. But what I've heard from, sorry guys, I had a little bit of THC. But what I've heard from New Yorkers is that two people from LA that the Hamptons is kind of a letdown for us. Because it takes like 2 hours-ish in traffic to drive from the city. And it's like, it's kind of what we would get just going to like Malibu for a weekend. but like we have Malibu, which I think might be prettier than the Hamptons.
I mean, the Hamptons are definitely a staple to the people from there, you know? But as far as beaches go, I hate to sound arrogant. I'm from California. Like, end of that story, you know? But I feel like the Hamptons and like Martha's Vineyard are bigger than just the beaches. That's like an additional part
I feel
of
like
it,
it's status.
Definitely status. As someone who likes architecture, I do love to see the homes, and I do like the interior
Oh,
design.
I love
whenever
East Coast
it's in
homes.
media. Yeah. But you know, if I have a chance to go there, that's cool. But I don't dream of it necessarily. It also looked really chilly that episode, so I was like, I'm good.
Yeah.
I am from California. Like,
it looks cold. Also, Erin redid her kitchen, and it looks the exact same.
When they did, because I was like, what did I miss? And then they did the side by side, and it was just the marble. And I have an opinion.
Tell
actually,
us
for a second. Less about Erin, more about like interior
Tell
design.
us.
We have got to stop with all the marble backsplash, you know, and marble everything. Like, there's also different kinds of marble you can do, and I don't think that marble should really be that kind of marble, specifically Erin's marble. It's her taste, that's fine, but I don't think that kind of marble needs to be on a counter.
I agree.
Not at all.
I agree.
But yeah, the obsession with marble.
Wouldn't it mess it up? Like if you're cooking and like.
That it's gonna be fine. I mean, marble's preferred for a kitchen, but I just don't like that marble design. Like, that streak, not really a big fan of it. Seeing it on a countertop, it belongs on the floor, in my opinion.
The white marble too, though, is just like, to me, it's, I don't know. We do live in LA, so in like all the fancy homes, it is all.
I mean, don't even get me started. I'm like, the
white
developers
boxes
out here, it's just
just white boxes.
Exhausting. Yeah, but I will say this: everyone stop destroying really good fireplaces to put marble on it. Grow up. Grow up.
Please. I don't want to buy a white box.
Jesus.
The joke is we'll never get to be able to buy it.
Right.
Buy anything.
We're over here complaining about stuff that we probably can't achieve yet. So.
But yeah, so I do think Erin overcompensated, but the food looks good. So
the food looked lovely. I think the girls should eat more of that, but maybe they did and they just didn't put it in the edit.
Then I didn't like that. So Rebecca's not drinking, and Bryn's like, oh, what is that? And she's like, oh, it's non-alcoholic. And she was like, what? I was like, Bryn, it's 2024. They're like literal sober bars. Like, I just feel like it's way past that. Like, why do you care if she's drinking or not?
Listen, I have observations about Bryn. I do.
I will say I was obsessed with Bryn last season, and I went into the premiere of Roni. I was like, I'm just like Bryn, and I listed all these reasons why I'm just like Bryn. Mostly being we're both from Indiana, we're both Aquarius suns and risings. Okay. And we both have cats named Sugar. And we're both really pretty and flirty. That was my reasoning.
I think it stops there.
It stops there. That's it.
Yeah.
Because I hate Bryn now.
I just she's interesting. I will say this though. I still think that they were bad guests.
I feel bad for Erin.
Yeah. Justice
for Erin. Like, honestly.
They were bad guests again.
Yeah, and they didn't say, they were just like, oh, good, you have food.
That's like really fucking rude. Oh, sorry.
No, please cuss.
Yeah,
please,
that was really,
cuss.
I think if you're going to be invited to somebody's home, it's okay if you don't like everything. What the hell? But you guys are all above 30, right? Is there anyone there who's in their 30s?
No.
Right.
No.
So you're all above 30. You know how to react in certain spaces. I understand you're on a show. If you are going to be catty, do it tastefully, because then it's just a reflection of who you are. Like, not everyone understands that you are playing up an aspect of your personality.
And it's still Erin's actual house, too. You know, it's not like it's like a set house where you're like playing.
Right.
So Erin said that Raquel wanted to drive with Uba and Sai, but they refused to give their seat up. Uba and Sai are like confused by it because they're like, what? And then it just seems like it was a miscommunication, really.
So what I don't like, and I put it here, like I quoted that, I feel bad. I cannot stand that statement being tossed around insincerely. I find it to be manipulative and a gateway to make assumptions. This came up during some of the driving alone to the house. Someone driving alone to the house, and I said, everyone here is above 20 years old. They need to grow up. Like, sometimes you don't travel with your friends, and that's it. I don't understand.
Okay.
I feel bad she's driving alone. She's okay.
Did she say she felt bad, or you feel bad?
Because she's okay.
What I'm not loving about New York is it's kind of the spokesperson thing. I kind of get Uba's point about the pigeons.
I definitely agree with Uba's take on that. We'll get into that.
We'll get into it. I think the metaphor is weird, but she's right.
She's
clearly.
So funny. Yeah.
I
do like this pigeon metaphor. It's very funny. It's refreshing.
It's very refreshing. But And I think Raquel was kind of thrown off by the thing because she's a new housewife. So she was like,
Mhm.
wait, what? Huh? Like, I didn't say that.
It definitely seemed like a miscommunication once they started speaking. But then also, like, if the implication was that Raquel was going to drive Sai's car, I also don't get that. But
No, why would you drive? That's weird.
right, no.
That's so weird,
Yeah.
especially because they're all rich. So they're like expensive cars and they're New Yorkers. So
That's
they
why
don't
I'm
drive
like,
them
they're
a lot.
okay. Like, you're being televised to go to, like, grow up, you know?
I think what happened was they were all supposed to get so the episode before, some of them took a helicopter, and I think half the girls.
to the Hamptons.
Yeah, so
Okay.
Rebecca, Brynn, and Jessel rode the
Mhm.
chopper, and I think all the girls were supposed to. Production probably paid for the helicopter,
Obviously.
and then, but I think half the girls were like, hell no, you know, because it's a helicopter.
Yeah, not only that, like, imagine getting into a fight in a helicopter.
Oh yeah, but yeah, it's just like, I don't know, I get it, and like after Kobe dying too, I feel even weird about helicopters, because that's what Sai said in the episode
She
before.
did?
She was like, yeah, no, like I
Mhm.
don't like not after Kobe's death. I'm like, I
Mhm.
get it,
Mm-hmm.
fair thing.
Mm-hmm.
So then Brynn and Sai try to work it out,
Allegedly.
work it out on the remix.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like they're not coming to the conversation with like grace or openness. They're just like defensive. And then Brynn like calls in Jenna.
Let me tell you, as someone who does not know their beef, this was a very objective understanding for me.
Mhm.
I did gather that like Sai was running her mouth. Even my mom,
Yes.
she was like partially asleep watching the
Yeah.
episode. She goes, "No, Sai like really likes to say a lot of things."
Yes.
So I'm like, okay, cool. I gathered that. Brynn still didn't let Sai talk. I thought that was so
No.
interesting. And then I said, Jenna seems to. This is side note about Jenna. Jenna seems to be protecting Brynn / whoever her source was, even though the issue at hand is Sai talking about her. I think that's weird. Like, so I feel as though the real issue here is not the mouth running, but the accountability or something. Because
Yes.
why is Jenna worried to tell Sai, the person who was
Mhm.
talking about her, that the person who said that she was talking about her was right next to her? Because
Yeah.
then Bravo did the clip. So I'm like, Jenna, you actually have the power here.
Yeah.
You're essentially the victim.
I wanted Jenna to step it up, and I feel like she got scared. And then
And I'm like, so what's up? What's going on with Brynn? What's
step
her
it
deal?
up, Jenna.
I don't-
Step
I
it up,
don't
Jenna
know.
Lyons.
You
And then
know?
Brynn is just denial. And Sai says she finds the conversation condescending, but then they just kind of weirdly make up
I didn't like the hug moment. I think it felt forced and insincere.
on Brynn's side.
Yeah, and I hated that everyone like cheered for it. It was like,
Yeah.
you know what it makes me think of whenever I see this, and so much of like Bravo and a lot of these
Mhm.
like fun little storylines are very reminiscent of like, you know, girls in middle school. Do we ever grow up out of that? Like,
I don't know. No, I guess not.
probably
But-
not. You're fine to play up drama. Just do it in a better way.
Yeah. But then it's gift time.
Right. I love that. That was the other
Gift
fun
time.
shade that I enjoyed.
So Aaron gives out gifts, and
Yes.
Jenna. Now Jenna gives Jessel the
Christmas tree.
yeah, the Christmas tree in a Balenciaga bag, or because she's making fun of her
Mhm,
obsession with labels,
mhm.
and it's the Christmas tree.
I thought it was tasteful. I
So
thought it was
tasteful.
so silly. And then she actually gave her lingerie after. If she didn't give her lingerie after, I would have
After?
been like,
Ooh,
you know. But she was like, I got it.
Jenna's very generous though.
Yes.
And then they kind of then the focus just goes to Raquel. It feels like the producers were like, get Raquel to talk about her backstory.
Right.
'Cause
Yeah.
it
Because I mean,
felt-
literally, she was story time. You know.
No, literally. So she kind of opened up about just like adversary things she faced as like a black art collector,
Mhm,
which
mhm.
I know nothing about that world, like art collecting.
Neither do I.
I didn't know that art collector was someone who like bought pieces and like I didn't
Oh, that much.
like
I
I
did
didn't
know.
even
Yeah.
like know. I thought it was just someone who like liked art in their house and would buy expensive pieces. I didn't get the whole like museum.
Oh yeah. That much I did know.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, because then like, and I don't know if art collectors can also do appraisals, but then like there's a specific art appraiser, so they can work together.
That's cool.
But yeah, like I think middleman is reductive, but for the sake of explaining, they would be the middleman between the artist and where it is procured. They'd be like a producer
Yeah.
essentially.
And that I find such an interesting job, because then it's like you're developing your own taste, your own storytelling, but
mhm.
then there's like this financial thing of it too.
Mhm.
And in the last episode, she talked about how she was a supermodel. Not a supermodel, but she was a
model in the 90s. Real cute. Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, okay, I can see how this world would be full of like boring white men. And then this like black and Puerto Rican woman like breaking into it. I'm like, I love it.
I enjoyed her talking about that also. Like, again, I think that those kinds of conversations feel more natural.
Yeah.
You know, than like trying to like pit people against each other. And
because it's too early in the season.
Right.
Like, I want to tell New York, like, the drama will happen. Just, like, let it happen.
Give it a second. I will say her engagement ring makes complete sense for her. And she
Yes.
wears it well.
Yes, I have the same
Not everyone
opinion.
can pull that off. That is, Raquel, yes, honey. Good for you.
It's not for me, but I also don't want, like, just a basic-ass diamond. Like, I like that
was
it's
so fun.
That
like
it's an art piece. My whole thing is, like, does it go with every outfit? But maybe it does with her style.
I mean, listen, this is an art girl. She's gonna make it work. You know what I mean? Like, if she's gonna base her outfits around her rings, so be it. She can do it.
Let her do it. I was saying when New York got rebooted, I was like, we need art ho representation on Roni. And I was thinking this whole time it would be Julia Fox.
Oh, okay.
But I think Raquel's the art.
Do you think she'd ever be on the show? Is she?
Yes. She's obsessed.
Okay.
She's obsessed.
I don't know
Huge
too much.
fan.
Got it.
I'm a huge Julia Fox fan.
Yes,
Love
I know
her book.
that. I know you are.
Love her book. I will shout her out, another Aquarius queen.
Yes.
And then, so they give all the gifts. I love the editors always giving us a flashback, though. The Bravo editors are very, very great. So I brought a rack, like a rack to put her clothes on, which I loved. I loved that.
That rack looks super light. She was like, oh my God. I was like, girl, there's literally nothing on that.
No.
I will say, at the dinner, though.
Yes.
Rebecca's parents' deal.
Oh, yes. Oh,
at
my God.
16 was uncomfortable to hear.
Yes.
And not normal, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like, birth control, for those who don't know, like, her parents offered her birth control.
If she didn't do drugs.
If she didn't do drugs.
Yeah. Like, I was having sex at 16. I was not talking to my mom about it. I did tell her I was going to Planned Parenthood, and she was like, cool. It wasn't like a conversation, though, about it. And I wasn't like, me and my boyfriend are going to go upstairs and have sex. It wasn't that. It was like we were still hiding it and being kids about it.
Right.
Like, as we should. Because, I don't know. Like, even as an adult, I find it weird to have sex in my parents' home.
I would say this, like, hormones, 16-year-olds, it's not an uncommon concept. For me, I definitely think it's like, why are you incentivizing it?
Yeah.
Why did you do it that way? Why couldn't you just say, hey, I really don't want you to partake in any of these things. Here's what could happen if you feel the need to. Like, you know, like, there's so many different routes to have taken if you wanted your child to avoid drugs. But then to be like, hey, if you don't do that,
you can have
birth
sex.
Control.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Yeah,
It's
it also felt like a shock value statement. I mean, I'm not going to deny that. It's
you know,
not
she's
true.
a Scientologist, right?
Oh, is she the Scientologist?
She is the Scientologist.
Got it.
I went on a rant out at last episode. I'm still scared.
Yeah.
I'm down the street from them.
Oh, wow. Yeah, no, I will say this, though, like, with it feeling like a shock value statement, I'm also like, I will account, you know, or can consider the fact that maybe it's just my way of not wanting it to be real. I don't know. I feel like that was, like, really uncomfortable. And then I'm glad the table talked about it. They're like, that's not.
Yeah.
No.
I do think, though, I'm not a parent, but
neither am I.
I would prefer my teenagers have sex versus do drugs. I wouldn't want to know.
I'm a sex positive person. I will say that. I just would never frame it in that way for my kid.
No, I wouldn't say this or that. But if it was that, I would say, like, children exploring their body safely with other children is one thing.
Safely.
There's not really any safe way for a child to, like, try drugs because their brain is developing.
Right, 100%.
Like, even, like, weed is, like, safe. Children, as someone who's been smoking weed throughout the episode, I don't think people should smoke weed until their brain develops.
Right, which is after 25, baby. Prefrontal cortex.
Prefrontal cortex, which some of these women, I'm like, is it developed? I don't think so. So, yeah. And I also love the story of Raquel's engagement.
Yes, that was so cute. And then they had the little video so you could see and the bikes and everything. Like, Raquel really didn't know what was going on. I think that's the best.
Yeah.
That's so cute.
So sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was surprised, though. Okay, so then Uba kind of starts the whole, like, all right, let's talk. She says that Sai and Bryn aren't actually good. And Sai feels dismissed by the whole thing. And then she goes, these girls are pigeons.
Yes.
Which, the pigeon statement, such a good metaphor. It's so, like, later when Bryn was like, no name calling, say something smart. That is smart.
That is.
She's not saying these girls are cunts.
Right.
These girls are bitches.
Right.
She's saying they're pigeons. That is so funny. And it also, like, I believe where's Uba from?
I want to look it
Somalia?
up.
I think it's
Let me see.
Somalia.
I should have looked it up. She has a very
Because
face.
Chanel Ayan is her cousin.
From Dubai.
Yeah,
that's what
her
I thought.
cousin.
I was like, she looks.
That's her cousin.
Familiar.
They're cousins.
Yeah, she's Somali and Canadian.
Yeah, so kind of similar to Ezra's culture.
Yeah,
East Africa.
I was gonna period.
Literally,
East African. Yes.
literally saying
she has those features.
Because when she did the pigeons, I was like, it reminded me of something his family would say, like a joke.
It made me think of something my dad would say,
like something just so funny like that. Because like Ezra has this book of proverbs. It's like Amaharic sayings.
Love that.
And it's like so insightful, but so funny if you would translate into English.
Oh yeah, Africans. That's the vibe. That's the MO.
I love it. I love it. And then she's like, these girls are pigeon carriers. And I think Sai heard what was going on. Shut the door. She said, not tonight. I'm not dealing with this.
Don't blame her. I think if this is what I've seen on a pattern throughout all of the housewives is when someone with sense comes on the show, they will call it out. And then by the next season, like,
they will be it.
And it's like, I know for sure there's like some brainwashing. There's like, you shouldn't really call that out, which like you can. And it's more interesting if that's like where your natural conflict is really coming from. Yeah. Because Uba was correct for that.
Yeah. I do think though, I wish Sai would speak up.
Yeah.
But I also feel like Sai tried to speak up at the beginning of the episode and got denied. So I kind of also get the point of view of like.
She also said she was already feeling awkward, you know. So I think she was trying to play it as cordial as possible. I mean, it's not the most cordial, but like where she could like control her involvement, I think she did.
And Bryn overhears everything and joins the conversation and like these are my notes on Bryn. The gibberish yelling. Do you want to start there?
Oh my God. Listen. Bryn likes to control the narrative and she's very defensive. Again, super objective. Like, I don't know everything going on between her and Sai, but super defensive. I say this as someone who doesn't have history, right? So I could be ill-informed or it's completely objective. In hearing Uba's complaint, Bryn carefully chose where to throw an extra log in the fire to change the conversational direction. I was like, nah, because Uba's making points. And she's, well, she said all this about me, and I did it. I'm like, okay, but we're talking about right now.
Bryn has a PR and marketing background.
There you go.
You know,
she was good at that. She was really good at that. Yeah. I said, I don't know what Bryn has been through, but she wants to treat others the way she was treated. This became clear in the confessional when she said the saying like "F you" was lowbrow and to offend her in a smart way. And then the cut when she mentions the snake thing, I go, there you go, there's your smart offense. But she was like, I say nice shoes. Where did you get that from? Nordstrom's rack. That's funny to me. And I'm like, these are coming from like a core wound around whatever she's trying to maintain relevancy in. And this is also supported by the fact that, you know, she was like, the way she like phrases things, she's like, she was like, I'm going to quote rich people, like, do you go east, you know? Yeah. Or when she was obsessed with the cars and how much they paid for it.
So she grew up in poverty. Like, her grandmother raised her. In Indiana. And like, I know the town she's from. Like, she said she was very poor in that town. It's already from a very like low income place. And I do think like the last episode, the first one, Aaron went on Jeff Lewis's radio show and someone was like, how does Bryn make her money? Does she have a sugar daddy? And Aaron didn't say that. Like, she wasn't like, yeah, but she didn't like defend Bryn super hard either. Like, no, don't say that's mean. Aaron was just like, I don't think that. Like, kind of, you know, trying to be neutral.
Yeah, it seems
and that's neutral. What Bryn was so mad about last episode. So I do think there is a lot of Bryn wants to appear very wealthy. Like, she just got a new apartment this season in Gramercy Park. And she's like, you know, and she's a young woman who has no financial help. And she's made it through her own work. And she has something about it. But I do think there is what you're talking about. And think about, you know, Sai also came from nothing as well.
Okay.
She worked really hard, and she did build her own shit,
Mm.
but she also married someone
Okay.
who
Okay.
had a lot of money,
Okay.
you know?
Mm-hmm.
So, but with Uba also, like,
She's a model, no?
she's a model, and
Yeah.
she's, like, I don't know what it is with Uba that really, really pisses her, because I think Uba, like, kind of sees Brynn for who she is. Maybe that is.
100%. I think so.
But I do thought them yelling in gibberish felt like a reference to Atlanta.
Oh, really?
Because remember, I don't know if you've seen it, but Sheree, early Atlanta, like Sheree and Marlo maybe, like yelling at each other in gibberish.
They used to go at
like,
it.
Like literally like gibberish yelling.
Mm-hmm. I thought that was so childish.
It was.
And then at one point, Uba switched back to English, and I was like, great, thank you. I need to follow something. You guys sound like 2-year-olds.
That's why I was like toddlers.
Yeah,
toddlers.
For sure.
And I know later in the season, because it was in the trailer, like Brynn calls Uba an adult toddler, but I'm like, you are too, though, Brynn.
Babe, you are a reflection.
It's the hurt child. The hurt child is coming out.
Mm-hmm.
They go upstairs though. Uba like lays in bed with Sai, or maybe that's the next day, and then Sai's like, yeah, this thing is like $2,000 or something, or $1,800.
Oh yeah, the massage or whatever that was.
But then Uba was like, I go to the spa every week. I'm like, you
right
go
when
to the
she said
spa
that. Oh,
weekly?
that's exactly why she was like, think about how much you spend at a spa, and Uba was like, yeah, 100%. Like I go weekly, so that makes more sense.
I've been to a spa like twice in my life.
Hello, I was like, this is a status thing. This is a class thing to go to the spa weekly, and then whatever the hell you're even doing over there.
And then Uba goes, we need to train these pigeons.
She was so cute for that.
The pigeon reference is going to come up, and I'm here for it.
It is.
Pigeons.
It is. And they're like, I like how they pieced it together, like, mail carrier? She goes, yeah, you guys all have the wrong address. And I was like, yep. Uba, I'm so sorry. That's not your accent, but.
No. I like want to learn like how to truly do her accent, because it is kind of a modge podge, I think, of different things. And she is so funny, man.
She is very funny.
Also, I didn't bring it up earlier, but when they went to dinner at the Greek place, the outfits of Uba's outfit, I think she was wearing the orange, her boobs were out. She looks so good to me. I also really like Jessel's outfit, even though she looked naked. I love Jessel a little naked.
When they kept saying she was naked, I was like, she has a lot of under.
She was wearing Skims.
She had mentioned that. I was like, I mean, I feel like her outfit. I mean, do I think it was appropriate for the weather? No. Did she look good in it? Yeah,
she looked great. Last night I went out to WeHo and I was wearing a sweater, but then of course it got hot in the club. So I took off my sweater and I just had a skin-colored bandeau like on, and everyone said they kept looking at me and thinking I was topless.
It's WeHo. Why not?
It's WeHo. So then breakfast happens. I think Uba came to breakfast ready to fight.
Right.
She was like, put me in, coach.
Let me tell you something. The execution was messy. I hear where she was coming from, and I still agree with her. The thing that annoyed me again, and the same irritation I had when the group hug happened, was when she goes, yeah, no one sees you coming. You're like a snake in the grass. And everyone was like, wait. I go, you guys choose the most stupidest thing to get worked up over.
I know.
Like, how are you more offended at someone calling you a snake in the grass, which you all know is true? And Uba called out, she goes, everything that I'm saying, you guys all think you're just not saying it.
And that's the problem with Roni. It's because, like, they are a little too self-aware. Because they didn't come in, like, think first season of Roni, they got paid $5,000. None of them knew what it was. They were just truly fucking shit up, being crazy. Yeah. These are influencers who are overthinking everything, which
is like like reality check. You're on one of the Housewives shows.
Yeah, and just like let it be what it'll be. Uba goes, Brynn, you are the biggest pigeon. You are the biggest pigeon. I do agree with one thing. I will say, I agree with Brynn that people should speak for themselves.
Yeah, they should.
People should speak for themselves. Brynn's like, be respectful, but Brynn's being not respectful at all.
And also telling her to stop yelling and stuff. Okay, Brynn, you were literally yelling in the kitchen, so you can't pick and choose. And that's what I mean. Like, she knows where to throw a log in.
She is picking and choosing. Because when she was like, don't call names. It's like, she's not calling you names. Like, she's really not.
She's not.
I love those side just going, Pineapple.
Right. The way it silenced everything. And see, here's the thing. This is my other observation, right? Like, Brynn really hates to feel left out. Like, this is definitely another
wound.
Definitely a wound. I'm not trying to say like I know her, but it's just what it came
Mm-hmm.
across as. And so there was two reactions to the pineapple. There was confusion, and then there was Brynn. And Brynn felt like she didn't want to be left out of whatever that was. But everyone else was like, what's going on? And so she kept inciting it. She was trying to like bait more of the confusion to get information out of it. And I was like, babe, it's a word that you don't know. It's clearly an inside thing. But look, it stopped everything.
Yeah, it did. It did. And I'm excited. I'm not excited, but I'm interested to see how the rest of the trip goes because I think it's not over yet.
No.
It's not
over. And then
over.
the conversation that Uba and Aaron were about to have, right? They went off to the side. I want to know more about that.
I'm excited to see where so at first when I watched this episode, I was like, ugh, like I didn't like it. And I was like, why did I tell Alix to watch this episode? We should watch something else. And then I watched it a second time and I like was like, oh, I see the conflict more. And I think I need to let go of like, these bitches are changing. Like the dynamics of the group are like, you know, which I'm interested also to see where Jenna, Jessel, like some of the girls who aren't as in the fight, where they land. Like Jessel is best friends with both Uba and Brynn. So we'll see.
Yeah. Yeah, I will say this, like, whenever it comes to any of the housewives, I love when they go somewhere together. That's always going to be
Love
fun.
a trip.
Love a trip. Local, far away. Far away gets crazier. There's
It
always
does.
an ambulance every freaking time.
There's an ambulance.
I can't. My heart. I'm dehydrated. Babe, drink water.
Drink water.
Walk away from a situation.
It's like when OC goes to Mexico, great stuff happens. When Beverly Hills is on a yacht, great things happen.
Yes.
When Salt Lake City is in a Sprinter van, great things happen.
Yes, the Sprinter van is so
Sprinter
true.
van.
Like, you don't even need the trip. You just need the transportation to wherever the hell they're going.
Yeah, I mean, that's truly it. But this was a great episode. Guys, please follow Alix. Check out her stuff. And
yes, Associates TV on Instagram. And then if you want to follow me on TikTok, oh my gosh, Birds of Paradise.
And hit her up for a reading. She's the best in town. She's the best in the valley.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much.
And also, please buy Thea's book. Hopefully, producer Ezra can pull an image of it.
Let
And
me do here.
follow her on Instagram. And follow us. Follow me. Follow me on TikTok. Follow me on Instagram. We have merch. And book club is coming up, you guys. We are doing You Can't Have It All by Stacey Schroeder.
Ooh.
Grammy and I, obsessed with it. Loved it. Can't wait for you guys to hear that one. And have a great rest of your day.
Yes, have a good day. Take care. Bye, guys.